the first time I heard you speak, like outside of the musical stuff that you do. I mean, everybody knows you for what you do in the musical world. You're like a legend. And I
In
remember
Northern Ireland, I think. I don't know about everywhere else,
well,
but in
I'm
Northern
not everywhere, everywhere,
there.
everywhere. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of Ireland, and I watched you with Martin. I love him to bits, and he was like a kid at Christmas, and I was like a kid at Christmas watching him being like a kid watching you, and it was just epic. But what I loved was the different sides of you that the public world doesn't see, and it intrigued me so much. Like when you were talking there a minute ago about getting to witness your own performance last night and the energy that you felt witnessing yourself, watching yourself, the emotional charge that happens, it's like getting to observe yourself from the sidelines and observing how powerful you are. Because when you went on stage, I swear to God, it's hypnotic, it's so powerful.
Oh my God, you're
And
making me shiver. Thank you.
but it's the truth, and I don't like, okay, so in your case, it's a very public display of what you came into this world to do, which is bring through the alchemy of your voice, a really true, authentic display of just how powerful each and every voice is. You're obviously on a stage and there's thousands of people watching you, and it must have been exceptional to actually witness yourself last night on
um,
that stage.
yeah, well, I was stupidly so worried about it because I hadn't seen any of it, and it's national television, and you're like, oh my God. So I remember just being egotistical. That's all it is. It's like yesterday I spoke to one of the producers. I went, is there any chance you could just send me it so I could have a quick look before?
Yeah.
And he's like, bugger off, just trust us. No way, you're going to be fine. And that was just my own ego of like, okay, I've just got to sit with this. Just what you do is what you do. Just watch it. But like I said, I've never seen that show before, and we've done 7, 8, and to when it first came on, and the girls came up the stairs, I was like really emotional because I'm so part of that team and those girls, and when I was so emotional, and then my heart was beating, and I had to do some breathing exercises, and that was half an hour before I was on. You know, just seeing the whole thing in its entirety just blew me away, to be fair. I just was thinking, oh my God, I'm a part of this. This is amazing. I didn't know it was like this. And I think speaking to the others this morning, we really all felt quite emotional because none of us had really, we're all backstage. We do our thing. We have to go backstage, you know? So yeah, the orchestra, I mean, wow. Just to have the orchestra behind me anyways.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a glove that comes around you and just holds you when you're on stage. It's like nothing else I've ever experienced with that orchestra. So seeing them and watching them with the cameras and watching the work and just seeing their faces and watching them perform was really, really special for me.
Almost like getting to watch from the outside looking in drone mode. That's what I call it
Yes.
all the time,
Yeah.
observing ourselves in drone mode.
And the
Um,
audience, I mean, the audience, the way the audience, I mean, yeah, I obviously I see the audience on stage, but you don't at the same time, and because of what you're doing and how we are on stage. But yeah, watching that audience last night,
I can only imagine from the perspective of where you were. Obviously, I've been in the audience. I was in a concert in Dublin. I heard Pete Tong with the RT Symphony Orchestra. Um, Not, yeah, it was just exceptional, exceptional.
yeah, there's something about there is that. I mean, I think sort of when Pete Tong did it and Cole Hamilton started to do it in the earlier days, and then it's just grown and grown. I mean, I'm actually been asked by Dave Pearce to do his orchestra one at the O2 this year, and that's going to be lovely doing it in my place, in my hometown, with an orchestra. But there is just something with an orchestra. I sort of joke now and go, well, I can't go on stage without an orchestra now.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I know.
But what I was going to say as well was, just to touch back in what I said a couple of minutes ago, the power of each individual person and the gifts that we all literally come here with. Our voices are one of the most incredible underestimated gifts that each of us have. And I know that from, you know, speaking to close friends of mine who have worked one-on-one with you, that what you do brings absolute transformation in healing sessions with them, with the alchemy that you bring. And I just love to know how, because for so many of us, myself included, I kept my mouth shut for a very, very, very long time. I still struggle, contrary to what people might think. I can jump on here and have a random conversation, but like on the inside, you know, I'm shitting it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, even if anything is sometimes. And I think for so many people, our voices have been suppressed for so long that we actually don't even know where to start. We know that we have things we want to say, to speak to express, but we don't know how to. Where do we begin? Where do we begin?
Well, I think in a lot of my teaching, so if we can just go back a little bit. So obviously I been a singer for a long time and did a little bit of vocal training, and then went into teaching voice. And it wasn't actually till I went into teaching voice about 20 years ago that's when I really questioned the essence of people's voices, because I would have clients come, this is all for singing, and my sessions over time, without realizing, they just evolved like this, where it would be more about a voice lesson as opposed to a singing lesson. So people would come to me, I would just recognize when throat blocks were on, the amount of emotion people hold in their voice, how people get shut down in their voice. And this was all through teaching singing. So I questioned this and looking at some other training to look for the fundamentals of voice and the healing voice and the authentic voice. And I found the most amazing place at Chichester Uni called the British Academy of Sound Therapy. So I did my 3-year course there, and I really immersed myself in the fundamentals of voice for therapeutic healing. So we studied with tuning forks and Himalayan bowls, but I specifically went for voice therapy because I feel that in the 20 years I've been coaching voice, once you settle your larynx and you find your tone and your sound, it ripples through your whole body as a healing process. So we ground better, we see better, we feel better. We all know that singing, you know, all the research that's done, especially recently, that singing lifts us. And I think that this was one of the things in Corona and the COVID-19 situation that really almost paralyzed me in a way when they said you can't sing. That was a big thing for me to say we can't sing anymore. Well, I took no notice of that. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but that to me was really harsh. That's gonna hurt more people than do any good. Yeah. Because we should never stop singing. We are sound, we flow, we move. Our voice is our release, and it's our gift, and it's the essence of us. It's our vibrational tone. So you can't ever tell someone to stop singing. The damage that does, psychologically, physically, mentally, all of it, emotionally. So I think over the last year has been quite poignant in me actually stepping out and doing these podcasts and talking about voice for healing and how it's rippled through. I mean, one of the things, being on stage and being a performer and giving, obviously throughout all of my life, you know, I'd have the most beautiful things said, your voice heals. I didn't know what that meant at that time. All I kept thinking was, oh, they like my voice and it makes them feel nice. So I think I sort of just carried along with that. But when I went to the British Academy of Sound Therapy, and they teach you things like overtoning, polyphonic singing, and obviously your voice for healing, and all the exercises we can do, and it's free. It's free. It's your voice. You don't have to pay for it. It's there. If you have vocal cords, you can heal yourself through sound. When I say heal yourself, you can give yourself some healing. You know, you can really give yourself some healing and some balance just by vocal exercises. And I think looking back, it's made me think, I don't know what it is in my voice, but there's definitely something there from an ancient world or something that people say that comes in when I do this healing work with my voice that actually astounds me sometimes. I don't know where it's from. I've been teaching to channel my voice, teaching in different languages that channels. I was lucky enough to go to Peru and sit with the shamans and, you know, study their medicine songs and their ancient tones and their ancient wisdom about sound and healing. So what I did with the British Academy of Sound Therapy, and then what I did with Peru, and then putting it together to almost create this space of healing for someone through voice. So that's what I do as well.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And the polarities between the two worlds, as in on stage being a performer, but the same core essence is there, isn't it, in both situations? I mean,
yeah, everybody knows that if I sing to you or you sing to me, or even toning, so we try not to say singing sometimes, because when someone hears the word singing is like bearing your soul. And, you know, people don't want to sing. And it's the big thing. If you say, come on, sing to me. Even when someone says that to me, I go, oh, hang on a minute, let me get ready. It's a, you know, do you know, even I do, you know, because I think if you just said sing, unless you're a child, they do naturally. But we, you know, as time goes on, this closes down because it's our emotion and it's our confidence and it's our truth. And we get a little bit closed down with it. So when someone says sing, a lot of people shut down straight away. So I find in a lot of my workshops and the spaces that I facilitate within sound, I feel it's quite easy to get people to drop their inhibitions, because as soon as you start singing or humming or toning and you invite people into it with you, it's almost like the human ear holds on to the human voice and pulls it in. And that's why choirs are amazing. And that's why people want to sing with someone. They don't really want to sing on their own. And you'll stay in tune more when you sing with other people, because you get locked in with other voices. It's so powerful singing together and toning together. And there's a real release. I've kind of lost track what I was going to say now. Yeah, sorry, you'll have to ask me again.
Not at all.
Yeah,
no, I love it.
Yeah, trying to get people to open up their throat.
When you were even saying that, sorry, I'm trying to push over the light here. When you were saying that, like I'm not about to burst into song here, but I noticed the resistance in
exactly the resistance
straight away, and I'm like,
yeah, I know.
But it's not like people don't want to.
I know.
There's like this innate, I don't know how to describe this, innate feeling to just open up your mouth and let it out. But it's like, shit, I couldn't even, no way.
Well, that's what I mean. But like, so, you know, that's where it comes from. We sang before we could talk. You know, if you look at the old scriptures and stuff, and you know, I mean, sound therapy dates back to what we proved 8,000 years ago with the Egyptians and all their scriptures. But if you look at the history of voice, we were singing before we were speaking. So it's so natural to us to do that. But in this society, in this day and age, it's a strange old time for singing, I feel. And I think people need to just let go of these inhibitions and open up their throats. And the amount of emotion that is around people's voices in this day and age is huge. And there's so many blocks on our voice, on our throats, and people are suffering with their anxieties and stress all down here because they can't let it out here, or they're stuck here because they can't let it out. And there's so many beautiful, easy ways to help a flow through voice. So yeah, voice is really, really important. It's really important. We're given vocal cords for a reason. And that reason, I believe, is for healing and for release. And it's interesting when you said about resonance, because in sound therapy, we look at the 5 R's, what resonates with you, your resistances to that, how you release that, because in a resistance, you've put something in your body and you've blocked it. So your throat's naturally going to close. So what resonates, your resistances, how you release that, then how you reflect on how you've released it, and then how you take responsibility in continuing like that. And I think when people come for sound therapy and people get a little bit of an idea of this work, when they tap into it, and you're going to feel it because you are sound and you are frequency, so you will definitely feel it. You go on your way having a bit more understanding of how to release stuff in the body and how to soften all your holding patterns, which we all have and which we sometimes just pile on. But through sound and through voice, we can find that in the body, and we can soften and we can release for health, to be healthier.
I don't think people realize the power of tapping into where that blockage is. And from what you're describing, it is accessible to each and every person if they just have the information of how to do that within themselves.
Okay, so I'll give you a little exercise, because I tend to do these on the podcast because I feel people kind of get this, and you can do this with me if you want. But this exercise is called a siren, and this exercise, funny actually, is within so much of my singing training, because it's about stretching the voice, finding your range, understanding your pitch. But in sound therapy, it was about an inner sound bath, and actually clearing, going inside your body with this sound, finding where your eyes are and your sinuses and your chin and your chest and your heart, you know, and your stomach and your legs, even where your fingers are. So, but it's a practice that you do every day, and it's so amazing. So I'll do it for you, okay? So, and this is the good thing, because the more you do this, the more you can understand where you're at. So for instance, I'll do it today, but if I go out the room this afternoon and someone tells me a little bit of bad news, that's going to go in my body, and that's going to shift my siren. So when we do a siren, when we're upset or we're traumatized or we're worried or we have anxiety, it just clears you. It's moving. It just moves you inside. So this is mine today. I'm going to point where I'm going, so it's a bit more understanding, so you can see where I'm at. I stopped then because I wanted to breathe. So that was like my top half to my chin. And then I came in almost here to clear down here. And I just, if everybody did that in the morning, close their eyes, went inward, brought in the sound from here, from their crown, bring it all the way down your system. It's a clearing. It helps you to ground. It helps with so many things. It just helps you communicate as well, because it's a voice warm-up. So it puts you in a place of grounding. So I suggest to everybody of my clients, please do them throughout the day. Find where you are, especially if you've had a bit of bad news, because you'll end up going, you know, you start to listen to your tone, whether it's jagged, whether it's smooth, whether it's, so some people will do this. They've completely dropped and missed a bit out. Then we look at that to go, why have you missed that out? There's something going on there. You can't get into that space. So would you like to do one with me?
Can I just ask, before you put me completely on the spot, my understanding of what's actually happening in front of me as you're doing this is that you're moving through the actual specific chakras, or the energy points.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Each energy point then is obviously related to different emotions, different feelings and beliefs. So for example, what I'm understanding that time was when the jump happened from like the third eye to the heart chakra, it bypassed the throat chakra.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And so
and
that
so much, Melissa. So many people, what I actually look for when I'm scanning someone, or they're scanning themselves, is that exactly there, because a lot of people bypass that. They don't realize, and I'm like, you've just missed your throat out. Why is that? Or you've missed your heart.
Can I ask, so if hypothetically speaking, somebody jumps from the third eye to the heart chakra, bypasses the throat chakra, is that your a guide that they've got something going on here, either the suppression of something at the minute, or their incapacity to speak their truth, or suppressed, whatever?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'm glad you've mentioned chakras and pressure points, because it's a terminology that I use, but I sometimes don't use it because people don't know what a chakra is. So a chakra is an energy wheel inside us, and we've got over 28 chakras all over us, but I work with 9, which are down the middle. But also we don't label anything sometimes, so we work with you as this whole system. But obviously you are a whole system. You've got to understand where you're missing. So you're absolutely right. I would, and I would say 80% of people miss here.
Yeah.
So so when we do that, then we come back to trying to do more sirens to get in the place. But then what I would do in a passive sound therapy is this person would lay down on the bed and I would tone my voice over them, because what's coming off of your body is going to hit my voice. It's just phenomenal. People hear it, feel it. So I'll scan you with my voice, and then something happens with my voice. So wherever I find a dissonance or a discordance, then I have to tone a certain tone. I'll find it, and then I have to sing into your body until it softens.
That's phenomenal.
And people receiving it. I mean, people that receive it, I think at first are like, "What, you're going to sing into me?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm going to sing into your arm because you're missing, you know, from your heart." And yeah, exactly. They just go, "Okay." When you're doing the whole session, because it's not just singing into the arm, there's a whole bigger holistic thing going on here. You know, it's moving the energy around your body. It's tuning you with some tuning forks, and obviously settling you with some Himalayan bowls. And then when we do the passive, and I know the energy's moved, then it's about stimulation. So we bring in a lot of percussion sounds. I use a shakapa. Hang on, I'll get it.
I love this.
And you know, it's my lovely shakapa that was made in Peru by the shamans, and they taught you to sort of clear off stale energy over the body with their medicine songs. And then obviously we bring the drum in to stimulate and bring back to the room. And I mean, it's not strange therapy at all, but it's the most magical therapy, because when people come out of it after an hour and a half, they're never the same again. That's all I can say. You know, they have a deeper understanding of themselves, of their sound, of frequency, and the homework that I give them through voice. They just go away. They've got a little bag of tools with them in their bag. I mean, that's what I want to give. I want to give everyone all these sound tools because it's free. Yeah. You're your own healer. We've just lost, you know. Yeah. We are so quick to go to the medicine cabinet and get a pill, but all you've got to do really is sing or tone into something to soften first. If you've got a headache, it's so easy to get rid of a headache with sounding, because that's all it is. It needs release.
Why didn't I speak to you about 4 days ago? I literally did 3 days. I get cluster headaches every now and again, and I just did 3 days of it. And like, you know, when if you know your own body, I know that it was resistance stuck, but I just stayed with it. I forgot about sound. I literally forgot. No, like, God damn. But listen, you know, it is what it is. I'm just amazed, to go backwards for a second on what you said, because I understand when you're using the solfeggio frequencies, when you're scanning a person's body to pick up where the blockage is, but to use your voice, that's another league again. Like, that's phenomenal. It really, really is. That's so powerful.
I know what you're saying, because people don't do it, but it actually isn't. You know, your voice has a reflection and can pick up. Obviously, if you're singing with any sort of instrument, there's resonance to and fro. Things are moving all the time and coming in harmonics. So when someone is laying down, wherever they're resonating, wherever I come on with a voice, is only going to kind of pick up with a harmonic or a dissonance. So the science is still there. I mean, This is what's really interesting, I think, with this work is, so when I talk about it, some people will go, "Oh, have you got to believe it for it to happen?" And I'm like, no, you don't have to believe any of it if you don't want, but it's going to work because it's science, it's fact. You are sound, and I'm treating you as sound, whether you believe it or not. However, belief is a good thing, because then you're 10 steps ahead if you're open to this and you understand the physics of sound. So it's a funny one when people say, "Have you got to be spiritual to have it done?" You know? And I'm like, no, you don't at all, you know. But if you are, then happy days, because then you've elevated, I feel, you know.
I think, you know, for people who are hesitant or, you know, nervous to step into the unknown when it comes to sound, I think even when a person can do something like make the, you know, the noise, sound,
Mhm.
you can feel that through your whole physical body. That moves, that travels.
Absolutely, but we all know, don't we, that it's when anyone sings and it hits us, look what it does to us.
Mm,
You know, it just makes us crumble when someone sings and we resonate with them. I mean, it loses our footing. And so it's so powerful, the human voice, when somebody hears it and when it's resonating with you. You
yeah.
know, it's a very, very powerful thing, the voice, really powerful.
Can I ask, you mentioned when you visited Peru and you worked with the shamans and the plant medicine, that, like, I mean, I've experienced it as well, not in Peru, obviously. So
You've met the mother.
yes, yeah, and it's a life-changing experience. So I can only imagine what it's like, in Peru, to actually experience that on all of those levels, between the actual plant medicine itself,
Wow.
the song,
Yeah.
because the song is
Yeah.
medicine, and
Yeah.
then you merge all of these things together. It's life-changing stuff, and then you bring it back home
Yeah.
and merge the whole thing together. That must be very, humbling to
Yeah,
be a
it is
part
humbling.
of.
I think at the same time as well, yeah, I really had to ask permission for this because, I'm trained as a singer and do what I do. And then I did sound therapy and do what I do. And then I went to Peru, and it kind of, everything did sort of turn me upside down, shake me, broke me down, and then sort of built me back up again. And that was really difficult. I just remember I was only there for a week, and I'd walked into the room where they have to assess you. And I'd just done a Lush gig on the Friday, and I flew out on the Sunday, and I think I arrived in Peru on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. And I'd just done that huge gig, what you saw last night. And I walked into the room, and all these old shamans sitting there, and they were chatting away to each other. And then the interpreter said to me, "You are covered in everybody's stories. What do? You've walked in with an entourage of people all stuck on you."
Yeah.
And that really got me, because I do find sometimes that I go on stage and I give everything and I'm so open, but I come off stage a bit depleted. And I think doing this sound therapy has made me think that's wrong. You shouldn't come off stage depleted. Don't give away everything that you give on stage, So really interesting working with them, because they said they gave me all these different techniques to go on stage with. They cleaned me off everybody. They also said to me that your audiences are toxic, which absolutely upset me, because I'm going into clubs with drink and drugs, and they call that the darkness side. So I had a bit of resistance to that, because these are my babies. These are my, all my audience I absolutely adore. But I understood what they were saying when they're looking at energies with drink and drugs and a dark in that way. So I respect that. But, one of them said to me, if you want to clean yourself, then you can't do that anymore. You've got to get cleaner audiences. So I had a lot of resistance with that. So I had to work with that. And then I found through the medicine, asking ayahuasca about this, because I was so heartbroken that through the medicine, it wasn't that. And it's more my audiences are getting cleaner because I'm doing more sound work kind of thing. So I'm going into yoga centers and festivals. But it wasn't, I don't think I found that the audiences are toxic. I had to really remove that word. The interpreter said it to me.
Yeah.
It's little things like that. So I don't know whether those shamans use that word toxic. She said it. So I took that word. You've got to be really careful what words you use. And it wasn't till the end of being there, after sort of 9 weeks, that I really spoke to them, and they said, no, it's just you came in and it's a drainer. That's why it's dark on you. You've got to learn to go on stage and come off light. So that's what I've been doing. And it's really hard to do, because it's really funny, because the show that you saw last night was my very first show after coming back from Peru. And when I sang Heartbeat, I don't know if to say this or not, because everyone really enjoyed it, but when I sang Heartbeat, I had to stand on one position with the wind machine, and I had this imaginary cloak on. I had crystals in me. I'd done these Icaro mantras before I'd gone on stage, and I walked out on stage and I was like, oh my God, this is not me. This is not me. Just And I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't there. Right? I was like, I just couldn't get in it. I didn't feel like I was responding to the audience. I wasn't giving it. That's just the thing. I was thinking, you're not giving it. You're not giving it. So you're not very good anymore. But then after that show, we've done 7 or 8 of those shows. And the one last night was the one everybody came back and said, that was the best you've ever done.
Yeah.
So I was really shocked because I'd gone on stage thinking that was the worst gig I've ever done.
Yeah.
And you
From the perspective of watching it, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, you looked powerful. You looked powerful. You looked like you were in your power.
So that's interesting because it was the first gig I'd done with the power.
Yeah, no, you looked it.
I was going, oh my God, this is so hard. I feel lost. I can't connect. Isn't it? But that's the ego.
Yes.
That's my ego talking, because I've really looked at this and thought, actually, that was your ego, because you weren't going out there going, come on, give it to me. You came on in a different place.
Yeah. You looked centered, and you were powerful. That's what I was actually referring to at the beginning of this. It was exceptional to watch. And I just want to ask as well, just to go back so that people can understand and relate the magnitude of what you've just said, because I observe when you're talking about the amount of people in an audience, the amount of energy that is taking from you as you give, right?
Yeah.
The amount of attachment that the shaman spoke of when you went there initially, that's what we experience in life. I mean, I work in a prison, so I get this.
Wow.
Yeah, so I get this. And obviously it's a way bigger crowd there.
It doesn't matter. It's how much they take from you.
It's but even in an everyday context, we're in family environments, and time and time again, like for everyday life, you've got people more than ever now who are so exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. They're just spent. They've got nothing. They're weary, and I don't think we realize as a society how much we allow ourselves to become so depleted at the hands of other people taking from us. And especially when you've got some people who are organically givers, they want the world to be a better place. They're either operating from a place of wisdom in giving or woe in giving. But they're constantly giving, and people in some cases are constantly taking. Can I ask, if you can share, that is, what tools or techniques did they offer you so that you could be in that power, so that you could stay in your sovereignty, centered, balanced, still emit the magic that you do, but not be exhausted, not be so depleted?
I'm still learning that, Melissa. I haven't got it down to it. That's a journey. I think we learn. I have to say, I've probably, because I haven't played as much since that show. I mean, we didn't play at all in 2020, and that's when I really wanted to put it into practice, because it was only a couple of years ago I went. So I think I've only had 2 or 3 shows. But what I've found is here at home, just with the family and our parents and the whole bigger picture of what they take, and then having to go, right, no more, okay, no more. And one of the things they taught me is to know when to give someone's stuff back. When you go, that's not mine, that's yours. And with family, that's really difficult, because we're also linked and connected, that I feel that we can't, especially with your partners and your husbands and your kids, you know, well, actually children a little bit different, but say with your partners and your husbands and your wives, you want to do everything for them and you love them dearly, but they've got their own stuff going on. And what I've learned from what the shamans taught me is, so many times I've taken my husband's worries and woes and traumas because I love him, and I'd go, it's okay, it's going to be fine. And because I'm that empath and I'm the one that always sort of does that, I would take all his stuff, I'd put it on my back, and then I'd go away, and then he'd be whistling away, and then he's fine, kind of thing, because we've had a chat about it and he's okay. But I've taken it and they said to me, you don't realize how much you disempower people when you do that. And that really resonated with me, because it was us thinking, it's okay, we're trying to make it feel better, so we'll take it so you can feel better, but you're not giving it back to them so they can sort it out, kind of thing. So it was a really strange practice, having to sort of turn that around in your family.
Yeah.
Because then they question, well, don't you care anymore? Or why are you being like this? It's but you've just got to do it. You've got to do it for your own self, really. You've got to sort of give back other people's stuff.
And is it fair to say that how you will know when to give it back is that frequency in your body that's communicating with you?
Yes, I do think, yeah, you're absolutely, it is the frequency. It's very difficult sometimes with the ones you love, because you're so entwined with them that I think when it works and you realise you've given it back and actually they've sorted that out and now they feel better, you're going, oh, that was easy, you know. But then sometimes it isn't. You don't, and I still do it because I can't help it. And then I go, oh, actually, that's not mine. You need to sort that out. I'm here, but you keep changing. And I think as well, it's recognising people's narrative within the family and how many times they say the same thing. You know, this whole narrative that we have of, well, that always happens to me. Oh, well, that's such my life. Oh, well, that's my luck. You've got to change that. You've got to start by changing your narrative and your programming and what you say. And you may think you're a happy-go-lucky, but then you listen to the things you say, and then you just like, oh, actually, maybe I'm not, or maybe that's not coming to me because I keep saying that. You know, I think that what the shamans taught, and through sound therapy, is what you say and how to manifest something. So, you know, me and my husband haven't worked for a year of last year. He's a driving instructor. He had to stop. All of my stuff stopped. You know, and it was a real eye-opener, probably 8-9 months in, of like, we haven't earned anything, you know, and, you know, it's worry. And I just kept saying, I have loads of money. I've just got loads of money. I've got loads of money. I hadn't, but I have, if you know what I mean. Because, and then I kept saying it, and we'll be fine. We're going to be fine. Something will come. Instead of going, oh my God, this is really scary. You know, we don't have any money. What are we going to do? Little things like that. It's a practice. You start with one little thing, saying something nice about yourself. Look in the mirror and go, this is so hard, right? So a lot of resistance is in one of the exercises I do, is you have to look in the mirror at yourself and you have to sing your name.
Oh, how no.
Is that? I know, exactly.
Sing your name.
Sing your name. So why have people got a resistance to that? If you love yourself like we should, the thing is with a name, because it's a sound, you didn't choose it. Your parents chose it for you. So where do you sit with that? So it's about becoming friends with your name, because you hear everybody say your name. So when you look at yourself in the mirror and you have to speak your name, really look yourself in the eye and then sing your name, all in different places, but you've got to look at yourself. It is the most bizarre thing. But it teaches you self-love, and it teaches you how to communicate, because you've opened up your throat chakra just by singing your name to yourself. Everything softens, everything becomes quite funny. There's a humor to it. But if you go to the mirror and you start singing your name and you don't like it, or you get upset, then you need to sit with that and hold wherever it is that you are upset about that, and look what that is and soften it and keep saying your name, because the more you say it and the more you sing it, the more you'll become friends with it. It's so important to sing your name, because that is part of you.
There's about 3 things I want to hit there. Number 1 is how much of an asshole our minds are, because like even this, you witnessed me there now. I have no idea. I had no idea what you were going to talk about. I had no idea what the resistance I automatically had when you went about, you said singing your name, and I went, no way. I have no idea why.
All over you. Yeah.
No idea why, right? There's first of all. That was one thing. The other thing was when you were describing the various ways of manifesting good, bad, or indifferent, how the voice actually sounds as those words were coming out of your mouth, the effect on the physical body as you say them, and as the person listening to them, It's it's so palpable.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, which all loops back, is if we go into a bit of a mental spin out, an internal mental spin out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you have something major, you know, like worrying, like the example you gave about the financial situation, the havoc that it can play on the physical body,
Yes.
the rabbit holes that it can take us down mentally, emotionally, then physically, well, it plays out in different ways and forms. For me personally, I believe our undealt with emotions always manifest into physical form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our bodies speak speak to us in a whisper first, and then it's like, megaphone, are you listening?
Yeah.
And so many people wait to get to that point. What I wanted to ask before I jump back to the name thing is, when we are in it and we know we're in it, where we know we're in this internal cyclone of nothingness and everything all at once, is there anything with the work that you do that you could suggest doing? Would it be the siren?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Totally.
To just recalibrate,
It's an answer.
yeah.
So, yeah, the siren is such an answer for clearing your head. So it's for a physical. So it's totally for your physical, because you're bringing in a sound and you're moving stuff. Emotionally, you're tuning to the sound and the pitch and the timbre of the voice. If it's shaking, if it's wholesome, if it's quivering, or if the tone you can't get hold of, if it hurts your throat.
Yeah.
Looking at the emotion behind that. But so with any worry, any trauma, like I said, any arguments you've had with anybody, any worries you've got, just tone inwards. It's all about moving. If you move your energy, then you will move out of a negative space and try and bring in some, I suppose when you say, what do I do? Like I just said, sometimes I'll go around the house going, we have money, we have loads of money. Like my kids are like, shut up, mum. Well, they're not allowed to say shut up, actually. We're not allowed to say shut up in this house, because that's all about shutting someone down. But sometimes they're looking at me, but that's then they know I'm worrying about it. When I get vocal, or when I'm sirening, or when there's something going on and I'm loud in my work, then everyone in the house goes, okay, mum's processing something.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit like
Can
that,
I just so I can compartmentalize this in this brain of mine? Mentally, when you're doing the siren, you're giving your mind a job, which is bring the noise, right? Bring the sound, right?
Yeah.
When your mind is occupied with its role, it gives the body the space to allow this to work its way through, so that you can internally pinpoint where something feels stuck. So you're going to audibly hear it.
Yes.
And you're going to physically feel it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I do. Okay, there's a lot of people have resistance to this. More people have resistance to doing it than want to do it.
Yeah.
Someone you know had massive resistance to doing it, and she still does. Okay, sometimes I go, she goes, no. And I go, but why haven't you done them? You could do them when you're washing up. You can do them. She goes, I know. They just, because what happens, it's that throat block. People go to do them and go, God, nothing's there. But there is there, because you can talk. So just start with, They're just sighs. And all sighs are so lovely to do, because they're like they're just a relaxing thing. So it starts with a sigh, and then you just get longer, and then you get longer. So you start to stretch it and bring it through the body. And then when you're in it, it's so good to do. But everyone will have resistance doing it first. I say do them in the car. If you're a driver, do them in the car, because you've got no inhibitions, you know, if no one's in the car. But just, even if to start with, you do go, it's a start. I must say with women, actually, just a little tip for the girls. If you're feeling shaky and you're all up here, which a lot of girls are, because we raise our voices and we tend to be a bit emotional, so we stay up here. when we do a siren, try not to come up here. If you feel jumpy or, like I say, slightly jittery, nervy, anxiety, not heavy upset. If you've got heavy up the upset and you're crying, then start from up there. But if you're not crying and you're all a bit here, then start from here. Don't go, because you won't get up there. It's too hard for you to even approach that up there when you're upset or you're jittery. You've got to come in because you've got to get on the ground. So you've got to come in from Can you feel that even when I'm doing it?
I can feel it in my body listening to you.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine what it's like from the inside.
Yeah. So when someone's laying down and I'm doing that on somebody, people just break. People cry a lot of the time, because I feel that as soon as you start singing, it's so magical and it's so in our DNA and so part of us that when someone starts singing, it breaks someone straight away.
Yeah.
It just does. It breaks someone down in a positive way, or you may call it negative, but sometimes if it's broken down, that's a positive, because we need to break down to start again.
It's a release.
Yeah.
One way or the other. I'd love to ask you, and it's as I'm trying to say, I'm not deflecting from doing the siren. Go figure. Yeah, I am. But the reason I wanted to ask is to tap back into something you said a minute ago, which was, we're not allowed to say shut up in this house. Okay. I would bet my life that for anybody watching this, listening to this, that they have been told as a kid by the very stressed parent who's not aware in that now moment of the repercussions of telling someone to shut up. The teacher, the friend, the co-worker, the partner, the child, whoever it might be, the magnitude of being told to shut up. Or even personally, when I was a kid, I wanted to enter this little local singing competition they had on every year. I wanted to go in and sing a specific song. My mom knew that I wasn't 100% sure of the lyrics. She said to me, what if you forget them? And I'm like, I won't. I was fearless. I really wanted, I had this pull to get up onto the stage. I think I was only like 8, 9 max. And I go up there, and I remember sitting on the stage, listening to the other children go up before me. It was just a little local, competition thing. I remember listening to 2 girls sing first. And I remember it was the first time I could consciously remember comparing myself to another person and go, I can't do what that girl just did. I can't do it. I can't do it. This little kid had a voice of an angel, beautiful voice. I remember consciously going, I can't do that. And then the next person got up, and the next person, and I think it came all the way around. And when I did go up,
oh, thank God you went up.
Oh, I went out. So we were all on the stage. We couldn't. I had nowhere to go. Okay. I couldn't leave. Right? I couldn't leave. If you can imagine us around in a little semicircle, there's the parents are all in the audience. I'm looking at my mom down the very back, and my aunt standing beside her. So I go up, and I was so nervous, and I sang the first verse. You're supposed to sing the first verse, a chorus, and the second verse. So I sing the first verse, the chorus. I was very shaky with it coming out, but I'm like, okay, this is okay. I remembered it. I remember the lyrics. I get to the second verse, nothing. I look down, and I literally see my mom put her hands into her face into her hands, going, no. Because as a mother, yourself, I'm my mom as well. You don't want that for your kid standing on a stage. You don't want that situation. My aunt is there going, come on, you can do it, come on. And I'm like, I vaguely remembered pulling the lyrics from somewhere. I don't even know. I think they're all choppy. I'll never forget going back over. Everybody clapped. I went back over. I sat down, and I went, oh my God, I'm never doing that again. I am never doing that again. Right? The time, and I didn't. I shut my mouth, and I didn't. And I love, I'd be belting around the house here singing like a good thing. I love music. I love lyrics. I love what the emotion that they bring up in me. I love that the memories that they ignite. I love associating a song with a person or whatever it looks like. I love it. I love it. But I didn't do it until I joined with Martin McNichol and my kind of soul tribe group, and I was put back into a container, a safe container where I could be vulnerable, safe in my vulnerability, and sing. And it terrified me, and it brought me such elation and a sense of freedom that I don't actually have words for. And then that was just for me. And then it's an added bonus when you've got all of these people going nuts on it in the middle of a Zoom call, because I was in here and then they're all clapping and cheering, going, yay! But it was so freeing. I didn't realize then for such a block period of time that I had shut my mouth, that I didn't open it. I didn't sing. I didn't do anything. And it wasn't again then until I went and did the ayahuasca retreat, where again I opened my mouth, because that's what came up. It's going to bring up whatever you need to hear at the time. And that's when it came up again. And in a group setting, when there was like physical people around me, I did it again. And again, it was just so liberating. But there's so many of us, so many of us that just won't do it. They like, I know what you're talking about. I know that it is liberation for myself in that now moment when my mind is spinning out. But even to do it here, I can feel the resistance in my body. I can feel it in my belly in particular. Right now, as I'm talking about it, the resistance to doing that, Siren, the things that the mind throws up, to stop you from opening your mouth.
And it's really interesting what you said, to stop you from opening your mouth. And as soon as you close that mouth and you've stopped, you're going to get loads of blocks. You know? So it's really quite, I would just say to parents that of young children, you know, just encourage them to sing as much as they can. Encourage them to say beautiful words, you know, encourage them to say things like, so for instance, what we all do to each other is we'll change someone's reality. So through worry as a parent. So for instance, I might say to Monty when he goes out, instead of saying, oh, Monty, have an amazing day, you know, drive carefully. I don't know, hang on, that's not even drive carefully. I'm trying to think of situations where you're actually putting that in his reality, by saying things like, or you don't want to do that, or make sure you don't fall in that puddle, or make sure that you've got to change that, because they will fall in that. But like your mum said to you, make sure you don't lose the lyrics. You lost the lyrics. Instead of your mum saying to you, you're going to be amazing, you're going to remember everything. And if you don't, it doesn't matter. Just go out and enjoy it. But not even say if it don't bring that in. Don't bring in. I say that the puddle one thing, because I was walking with a friend in a field and I jumped a puddle, and I just said to him, well, make sure you don't fall in that. And he bloody fell in. And he went, that was your fault. You brought that into my life. And I believe things like that. So be careful what you say to other people, especially with parents, what you say to your children and things like that. And it doesn't take a genius to turn it around. You've only got to just be aware of it's not even that you think you've said something negative. You don't realize what you say to bring in someone's reality, you know, or make them believe that, when actually that's not your job to do that. You should, I don't think.
And like how you're feeling energy wise saying it. So for example, I said to one of my boys here, make sure your phone is on so that I can reach you at all times.
Yes.
And then he's like, I'm just going down to, you know, my friend's house to kick around a ball. What's she talking about? I'm going down here to have a laugh. Why? They're my fears. I don't want anything to happen to him naturally. How I'm communicating it is not imbued with, oh, go and enjoy yourself and have a great day. And similarly, even with my own mum, that time as a child, because she would have experienced embarrassment or shame, she,
But also, I think she's worried for you.
of course,
That was what she didn't. She was so worried for you. Please, but I probably said that to my children because they both perform. Have you learnt your lyrics? Make sure you don't lose your lyrics. We can't help but say that.
yeah,
Yeah. But once you do this work and you work with voice,
yeah,
we realise how much stuff we say to each other that's so negative. It
yeah.
puts you in a negative place. One of the other words that I don't like used in this house is shouldn't or could have, because what's the point in them? It's already done. So can we not say that? There's no point in going what we should. I know we're not saying should have or could have because it's pointless. We can reflect and we can talk about things in reflection. But the word if and should have and could have, I'm like, oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna bite the bullet now, and I'm gonna try and do this siren.
Oh, good girl. Okay.
So tell me again, what do I do, just so that anybody else watching this can do it too?
Okay, so it's about
God.
just really kind of seeing where you're at in your voice and seeing where you're resonating at, and it's about just bringing the sound in from your head and just watching it and listening to it move down your body. When you run out of breath, if you haven't got far, then you finish on that place, take a breath and come in. So mine would be and we drop our chin because that's how we hold our low notes, with our articulators are our teeth, our tongue, our soft palate, our hard palate, and our lips and our jaw. There are articulators, and without them you're mute. So that's what makes our sounds and our shapes. So when we keep our lips together, we keep it in. So we keep it trapped in the body, and it's the most amazing thing because it's actually massaging out all your holding and patterns and softening all those places. And when you do it more, if you have a backache, I guarantee you can find the note for that backache, and then you tone into it.
Again, I'm not deflecting, but just want to ask. So if you find a physical pain point, by holding the specific frequency, when you reach that body part,
Yes.
to like hold the note, hold.
So what they're doing at the moment, just to come away from what you're saying a little bit, they're devising a bit like ultrascan, but they're using it. They're making a frequency. They're measuring the frequency of tumors, and then with an apparatus of that frequency, they're going into the tumor to blow it up
with the frequency.
Epic. So frequency medicine is one of the biggest medicines it's one of the oldest medicines that's all been forgotten about, and now it's the medicine of the future, frequency medicine.
You see, I've seen when I was studying bioenergy therapy, one of the teachers showed us about cymatics. What's his name, Dr. Emoto, is it, or something? Don't know what his name is, but basically frozen water. When the music was played, the frequency was played to it, created the most beautiful shapes.
Yeah.
And they've done something similar then, I think, as well with plants.
Yes, they have.
Talking beautifully to a plant and then trash talking the plant, and then it doesn't thrive.
It's like the water, isn't it? When it's got hate on the bottle and love on the bottle, and hate just evaporates and goes brown, but love stays pure and full.
Yeah.
It's all energy. We are all energy, and it's all energy exchange. Everything's got to be a mutual energy exchange in everything. So whatever you give, you've got to get back, it's a balance. Anyway, siren lady.
God damn. It's shocking. The resistance you feel is actually outrageous.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. I can't stop.
I know. So before you do any voice work, be aware of how you go because it's one of the worst things you can do. You slap your vocal cords together. It is one of the worst things you can do before you talk, sing, go to say something, but it's nerves that comes in that makes us do that. So try not to do that. We actually don't ever need to go you just swallow. It's psychological, that, because obviously coughing is a different thing. We need to cough to reset and stuff, and that's not good on our vocal cords, we say, because that slaps it. But the whole clearing the voice loudly doesn't need to be done. Okay, so any voice resistances and you feel yourself going, just swallow or do it really softly, you'll feel the difference because it's lovely instead of doing a hard yeah.
Why is the body kicking off so bad? I can feel it in my belly. I can feel it here.
Do you want to do it with me? Do it with me first, then on your own.
No, do you know, I'll just play full out here. I'll just go for it.
Okay, must keep your lips together though. Close your eyes. The other thing as well, Melissa, don't go down. Right? So sound takes us. So it's really funny when people do this because sometimes you end up like that, but you don't want to end up like that because it puts a throat block on. Where the resistances come, if you end up like that, you haven't gone through because your blocks will pull you down.
Do you naturally pull in the beginning note?
Yeah, but it changes all the time. It just changes all the time. Because I'm warmed up now, I'd probably get higher. But then if someone's told me something really upsetting, I'm never going to get that high. So it changes. There's no rules. Nothing is wrong or right, okay? I know.
Oh, Lord. Okay, all right, I'll try it. All right, so just start.
Just do it all the way down. And I'll try and read you.
Sorry, I laugh when I'm nervous or else I cry.
It's lovely. That's what I love about voice works. Everyone starts laughing.
I did it now. Look, I'm in my head.
Oh, that's lovely, Melissa. Right, now do another one so it'll be longer. Just because you got to do 3.
I'm not going to think about it.
Stretch longer. That was a lovely one. Make sure you got enough breath.
Sorry.
I know, it's lovely. But you've released already, just doing that. You've already moved. First one is the mover. Lovely and long that was. Now breathe in and do a third one. That was really good. And this one will be even longer and enjoy it. Is that where it is in the body? Yeah, lovely. How'd you feel?
So, just to break it down and be the guinea pig. The first time I did it, the resistance was outrageous. I was very in my head. I was like, you look like a gobshite, you sound like a gobshite, what are you doing? People are going to think you're nuts. All this madness in my mind. And like, ooh, then, you know, as it moved down, I was like, oh, that feels nice. Oh, and then before I knew it, it was over. Then you said to go into it again. And then I wanted to. I actually wanted to.
That's lovely. Second and third one, really
I just wanted to meet the resistance head on. So then I found I went a little bit higher. I didn't really understand it, but it's like, if I was to describe it being inside of my body, it was like I had more range to witness myself from the inside. And then by the third time, it was like, I almost, if you could visualize something, it was like being inside and just doing this and kind of just looking all around and going, whoa. And the third time, I was able to really allow it to expand me, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. That's what I was going to say to you, actually, because everybody's first one is a bit restricted and we stay in a restriction. The third one we come out, and second one come out. By the third, fourth and fifth one, it's all expanding. You are expanding in the universe. So you expand your body and you become bigger with the siren. And honestly, it is a practice. And the more we do it, you can use that exercise for so many different things. It's just amazing. You know, a couple of women come and see me, they had to go to court and one of them was fighting for her child and she came in so emotional and she was all here because our emotion takes us up. Any emotional trauma takes us up and out, okay? So with voice, it's about coming down, coming onto the ground. We do sirens where we bring up the ground and we've got to finish up here, but that's a bit later on. That's about when you've got the other one sorted, when you're grounded. A lot of true work can only really come from when you're on the floor and when you're actually in yourself. And sirens put you in yourself. And like I say, it is a practice. that it's a freeing. And so for instance, the woman that came and really emotional, and a couple of days when she'd gone to court, and she called me afterwards, she said, those sirens, I was doing them in the car. I was crying through them because I was so scared of the day that was ahead.
Yeah.
So she said she'd start, and then she just burst into tears. So then she just would go into the siren through her tears, and then it just settled and everything softened. And she stepped into that courtroom and she was in her chest voice. And she said, I didn't cry. Because she said, I don't want to cry in court. You know, I want to be a mother, not too much of an emotional mother. And that was just sirens. There was other things we did after to calm her down, but just going in is all you need is that. And cry through it, even if you want to scream through it, but come back to it. And then you won't need to. And like you said, all of a sudden you're bigger. It makes you big and it grounds you as well.
And you were saying then when you're working with people that when they do that, you can read by listening to the tones then that come out of a person.
I don't even, sometimes it's really hard for me to switch off. Like I'm analysing everybody all the time with their voice, and I can't help it. It's like, just stop listening and think about what they're saying. But then I don't even hear what they're saying sometimes because I'm listening to the way they're saying it or where they're speaking from. You know, it's, And a lot of people will say to me, don't talk to Maria because she'll analyse you.
No, definitely. So when you're listening to me then, what can I ask then, what did you or can you or...
So what was the first thing I said to you when we were trying to get on?
About not being seen, was it?
No. The first thing I said to you before we came on live, I went, oh my God, I love your voice.
Oh, my voice.
It was the first thing I said. Because I didn't know you were going to have a Northern Ireland accent and just the way you spoke.
Mine's a Southern. I talk different from...
Southern Ireland. Yeah, Southern. It is Southern. But it's your softness with it and your tone and where you speak from. So I didn't think I'm going to say that to her. That just came out subconsciously. The first thing we said when we started talking is, oh my God, I love your voice.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Honestly, you've got such lovely, I think where you don't, it's interesting listening to you because sometimes when you talked about some really personal stuff, you did lift your voice and it came into a place more here than here with emotion and just the way you were with it and it's not that your voice shook or anything, but it went in a place of emotion. That's fine. We're emotional beings, but be aware of that. I'm just asking people to be aware of their voice. And when you feel you're in that anxiety place, or even if you've shouted at somebody or had a go at someone, you know, come back and feel how that feels because it's not very nice.
No.
And if it doesn't feel very nice, then it's not right. You know? But overall, where you talk from and what you do, you're really clear. You talk from a base, and your tempo is nice. I tend to rush a lot what I say, and I'm very, very quick. And because I'm from Essex, I have to make sure I open my mouth because a lot of us just talk through our teeth really, really quick like that. So, but you don't have any of that. You've got lovely timbre and you open your mouth and it's really nice.
I don't know about that one. Thanks.
That's what Essex people talk through their teeth, you see, and we all talk a bit like that.
No, I like your accent. I love it.
I love your voice.
So can I just ask for anybody then who is interested in connecting with you, do you do these sessions only in person or do you do them online with people as well?
It's really interesting because I only do them with people in the room, but I've been doing all these podcasts. So in different podcasts, they'll ask me to do different things. And then someone will say to me, can you do that with me online? So I've done a few things with people online. So I do need to do this online. It has made me think you need to get out here online and do your own podcast and talk about what you're doing because everyone wants to talk to me about it. And then people will comment and leave, say, can I do something with you?
Yeah.
So I've got to sort that out really.
So can people do like could I book, for example, a sound healing session with you online at the moment, or will it be just one-to-one when the restrictions lift and stuff?
Right. Well, it's really interesting because what I would do, I'd have to do active sound therapy with you. I can't really do passive because passive sound therapy, I need you on the bed and I need to hear your body. You know, you need to be here kind of thing. But my teacher, I just heard my teacher then saying, careful, no, you don't, because at the same time, you being here, it's the same energy. I'm still seeing your energy, feeling you, hearing you. It's just, I can't put the bowls on you or the tuning forks on you to hear it. It's a different thing. So we do a lot more active sound therapy. But I also feel that when I've done one-to-ones and somebody's laid down and I've sung the medicine songs and I've closed my eyes, I'm with them, they've got a lot out of that. So I think I do maybe need to do passive as well. So people do lay down and I just do my stuff.
Epic.
It's all new, all this Zoom stuff, but
it's great then that you are like a human tuning fork, singing bowl, magic medicine woman, so that yes, maybe it is time, because the world needs it more than ever right now, that's for sure. They really do.
I'm approached by a nurse, she's head of respiratory here at Southend Hospital, and she's asked me to do some stuff for long COVID, singing and sounding online for groups, and I think that's going to really kick off for your respiratory. Long COVID or not, it's just that people should do it anyway. People should sing and tone for their health, trying to promote that with people anyway.
Epic. Well, listen, I think it's time. I think it's definitely time to bring it all online now more than ever, because like I said, the world needs it, and that's one of the gifts I think that COVID has gifted us, is the understanding that we can reach people. We've had to make ways, haven't we, to connect, to nurture this connection. And what the sound healing does, what you do, helps everybody to reconnect with themselves. So if it can't be done in person, let's go, bring it online, fly.
Absolutely, let's bring it online. So before you go, I'm just going to sing you. Shall I sing you a little medicine song?
Yes, please.
Right. Okay. So it's only a little medicine song. So this is talking about the plants and all sort of the medicine that plants. All plants are medicine for something or someone. So it's talking about. It's literally just talking about that. It's talking about what the color of what's inside the twigs, and yeah, I just do it. So it's quite quick. Limoncitro verde, cola della piel. Limoncitro verde, cola della piel. En cada ramita tienes medicina. En cada ramita tienes medicina. Limoncitro verde, cola della piel. Limoncitro verde, cola della piel. En cada ramita tienes medicina. En cada ramita tienes medicina. Utumakayesa, umakayena.
Oh, that was lovely. I felt really childlike listening to you. It was awesome. I felt really childlike. Yeah, it was lovely. It was epic energy. So thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
Thank you for this time. It's been epic.
Thank you.
What I might do is we might pop some links and comments when we share, so that people know where to find you.
Okay.
Until next time, I'd love to do this again.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks so much, Maria.
Okay, where are you based in?
I'm in right smack bang in the middle, right in the centre of Ireland. Pardon?
What's it called?
I'm in a small town called Moat. It's just right in the heart, right in the centre.
I've done a lot of Ireland. I've been all around Ireland, not with music, but also I've got a friend who lives in Grabble Bay in Cork, and we've jumped in the car and we've driven all over Southern Ireland. I absolutely adore the place. So
West Cork is one of my favourite places in the whole entire country here. It's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Listen, we'll do this again really soon, hopefully.
Yes. Okay, Melissa.
Thanks
you take
for your
care.
time, Maria. Bye.
See you later. Bye.